brace from Ghana Black, Meteors man, Daniel Bania, all from the spot, has made it possible for the Ghana Black Meteors, the under-23 side, to secure a first leg 2-1 victory. They head into the second leg, which they'll play here in Kumasi, to probably qualify as a team for the AFCON under-23, which will also serve as a qualifier for the Ghana Black Meteors into the Olympic Games. We missed out on that competition last time out under coach Ibrahim Tanko. He was fired and brought back in. They are on course to qualify for that once again. We're also going to talk about Alexander Djiku. Yes, Djiku had an injury scare. After 26 minutes of action, he was pulled off. We'll look at the extent of the injury so far, what we have heard, and what it means for his participation in the Qatar 2022 World Cup. We'll also talk about Ghana's group, expressed by a former Uruguay player, Lugano. He talks about it being a really tough group. So all that here today. As usual, subscribe if you have not. Click on the notification bell to get more updates. We'll jump right into it and we'll talk about the Ghana Black Meteors, the under-23 side, who were comfortable winners at least until the dying embers of the game when the hosts pulled one goal back. 2 goals or spot from the spot kick by Daniel Bania was enough to help the Ghana Black Meteors get a first leg win away from home. 2-1 it ended, and Bania scored all the 2 goals from the spot. Ghana now come back into the second leg with a chance to win it and go through to possibly the under-23 African Cup of Nations, and if they are able to qualify for that, they will have a chance to also qualify for the Olympic Games in Paris in 2024. So qualifications are still ongoing, and Ghana, congratulations to them on that first leg win. We're happy to see them through and making us proud in the process. We'll bring you highlights of the goals and everything in between later on, as the FA will finish us with that accordingly. My next story has to do with Alexander Djiku, which I'm sure you've heard the rumors now making the rounds about his injury. In the team's draw early on this afternoon, they shared the swells 2-2, and it was reported that Alexander Djiku came off just after 26 minutes. Will that affect his participation at the World Cup in Qatar? Well, it's still not clear yet, but what we do know is that Djiku suffered an injury that called for him to be taken off in the first half. 24 minutes played. The Ghana international was in action for us in STRASBOURG on Sunday in the French Ligue 1. Match day 12 encounter of the ongoing French League campaign. The highly rated defender started for his team in the heart of defense. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury setback in the 24th minute and called for a medical attention. Unable to continue the game, Djiku had to be substituted for his place to be taken by Lucas Perrin. Although the extent of the injury is yet to be ascertained, now at risk of possibly missing out on Qatar 2022. I don't want to talk about that happening. I hope that is not the case, but it is a possibility. In less than a month's time, the World Cup will kick off, and we do not want to miss our key player, especially in Alexander Djiku, the Rock of Gibraltar of our defense. So we hope that it's not anything serious, but I'll be updating you guys accordingly and letting you know the extent of the injury for Alexander Djiku and what it means for its participation for Ghana at the Qatar 2022 World Cup. So we'll keep you guys posted on that front and what it means. But he suffered an injury, needed medical attention, had to be hauled off. Whether it was precautionary measure by the coach and the medical team, whether it was something that gave them the notion that he could not play, and how long he will not be playing for, we will still find out and let you know. But he out 24 minutes of action, and he was no longer part of that game, which they shared the swells with the other team on. So that is it there on Alexander Djiku. I move on to my next story. It has to do with Iñaki Williams, who has been cleared for fit to face Barcelona later tonight in Atletico Bilbao's game. Ernesto Valverde will be facing his former side. On Tuesday, he suffered an injury which made him a doubt for this weekend's game, but after scoring a goal actually, and his side letting it slip in that draw, Ernesto Valverde has all 25 of his first team players available for the match against the former side, and it is in FC Barcelona. Yuri Bericic recovered from a heel problem, and Danny Vivian from a sprained ankle. As a result, he must once again discard 2 players to arrive at a 23-man squad. Williams is having a fantastic season, scoring his 4th goal on Tuesday and against Getafe. Under Herrera's left-footed precise cross into the box, Williams latched onto it and finished with a quick shot into the middle of the goal, leaving Getafe's goalkeeper with no chance. The 28-year-old is confident of scoring against Barcelona, who have been inconsistent this season. They've been consistent, just 3 points behind the leaders. I think not so inconsistent, but it's been a topsy-turvy season in the European campaign. But currently they sit second, Atletico Bilbao are 6th and need a win to get back into the top 4. Williams is set to make his tournament debut for Ghana in the Qatar 2022 World Cup. Good news that Iñaki Williams is back. My final story has to do with the former World Cup legend Diego Lugano, who says describes Group H as a group of revenge. Interesting comments there. Uruguay legend defender Diego Lugano has described Group H of the World Cup Qatar 2022, which houses Uruguay, Portugal, Ghana, and South Korea, as a group of revenge. Interesting. The 41-year-old, who was a centre-back at the time Uruguay played Ghana in the 2010 World Cup, played for them from 2003 to 2014, where he was capped 95 times and scored 9. And now Lugano's partnership with Diego Godin in central defense is remembered by fans as the backbone of one of the best Uruguay defense in recent times. Lugano, in an interview with Vidal Estallo, saw him evaluate the opponents his country would face in Group H, as Ghana, Portugal, and South Korea seek for revenge against Uruguay's standards. It's not a death group, but it's not an easy group, he said. In the situation of the opposing team, it's a group of revenge. We've knocked them all out, and they are thirsty for revenge, he added. In the case of South Korea, they lost 2-1 to Uruguay in the round of 16 of the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Korea. Ghana lost to Uruguay on penalties in the same World Cup in the quarterfinals in South Africa after being caught up in the famous Luis Suarez hand of God incident. Portugal lost 2-1 to Uruguay in the round of 16 at Russia 2018. We all remember that. While Edison Cavani scored both goals for South American giants. However, Lugano expects the present Uruguay team to be able to overcome the obstacles in Qatar. Uruguay have played a leading role in all 3 World Cups, Lugano said. As with all World Cups, the group stage is complicated, but Uruguay has done well. I hope the players enjoy the tournament in Qatar. Then things will definitely work out. We'll see about that. Diego Lugano, who has talked up the group of revenge, he calls it. All the teams Uruguay have beaten in the past, they'll be looking to get revenge on them. We'll see what happens there. We'll see how Ghana also fare in that group. Group of revenge, I see. So that has been it for today. Talking to you about the group of revenge as described by Diego Lugano. Alexander Djiku injury latest. Mozambique have beaten by Ghana 2-1, first leg of the under-23 AFCON qualifiers. Iñaki Williams' availability to face Barcelona. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great weekend.